Hello. You have just connected with Shaniqua L. Washington of Zuriel Leadership Development LLC, and I am your leadership and your life coach. I want to thank you for taking the time out to connect with me on my YouTube channel where I invest in women who are willing to invest in the future of their careers, recognizing that in all of the agility that we illustrate that there is a glass ceiling, and the question becomes, how do you break the ceiling when you tap out at the maximum potential of your current success? So today I want to dive directly into a topic about frustration. As women leaders, we often must be in tune with our emotions because our emotions can channel our absolute frustration. When people don't operate in the space that we desire for them to operate in, when we know why we promoted them in the first place, when we give simple direction and we don't receive the result, the execution that we desired, that we knew that they would be able to accomplish in the very first place. When people begin to tap out, they're not coming to work in the absolute emotional part of who they need to be. The physical presence is there, but you don't see the passion. You don't see the motivation anymore. You don't see the energy that's being exuded in their present responsibilities, and you're counting on them to make it work. Well, what do you do when you reach that place where you just tap out? You have reached the top of the ceiling and you are totally frustrated, and all you want to do is say off with their heads. Let's be truthful. That's a true fact. And most African American female leaders, we face this as a daily situation, more than we can count, more than we can talk about, more than we can explain. And oftentimes what we do is we put our character to the side for the sake of proving who we are. You know that I can show you better than I can tell you. And this often gets in the way of us level setting so that we can break that ceiling and re-engineer ourselves, that we can absolutely execute in a place where we're able to dominate the space that we were given, where we're able to level up not only in what we put on the table, but we're able to level up in our own development as well, because we're able to learn from those things that frustrated us, which now becomes best practices, which now becomes development conversations that helps us to pioneer women to their absolute next level. I want to share with you that frustration absolutely comes with part of the engagement of everyday business. It comes as part of the distraction that causes you not to stay focused on the true vision in the very first place. So you can't allow frustration to be the thing that causes you to move away from what you've been designed to do in the very first place. So I want to go ahead and let's just go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper about what are those things that come and cause you to be in that place of frustration. Number one, expecting people to do what you do. That is the number one cause of frustration. You say, I lead by example so others will follow. Well, why aren't they following? Why aren't they getting it? Why aren't they executing in that space, in that capacity, in the leverage that I know that I have clearly shown them what to do? Well, we must understand that in the process of leading the horse to the water, you don't want to drown the horse trying to make the horse drink the water. Some people were just not built for certain things. And that's where we have to lean to understand what are people's assets and what are people's liabilities. We build upon the assets and we help to elevate those things so that they can move in their strengths while we develop the liabilities. And some of those liabilities can be clear communication. And what do I mean by that? I can come to you and say, hey, Mary, how are you today? Mary, I would like for you to please ensure that by the end of today, which is the close of business by 5 p.m., that you get this information to Mr. Parker. This is critically important because we have a deadline to meet tomorrow. Or I can go and say, good morning, Mary. How's your day going today? I need you to get this information to Mr. Parker. And then Mary fails to get the information to Mr. Parker and we miss the deadline. And that is because there was no clear communication in how that information was shared and how we understand what is the meaning behind what it is that we're doing. And that is because oftentimes people don't carry the same level of passion that you do for the initiative that you've been birthed to actually deliver. So you must realize that in that, the first thing is expecting people to do exactly what you do. You'll fail yourself every single time. Learn to work with people's assets and build upon their liabilities. Another example is the level of growth. We all have different levels of growth. Well, I hope we do. But often we should have different areas where mine, I said that completely wrong. My level may be to actually begin to learn how to network just a little bit better. See, there's different levels of networking, and my level may be networking in a space. See, we all have different areas of where we need to learn. Just a quick joke to throw in there. My daughter is learning with Kumon, which is absolutely amazing. And even at this age, we get set in our ways and the different things that we're doing. And she often corrects me and says, "Mommy, you did not enunciate that word appropriately." So now I've become very conscious of how I'm exuding my words to make sure that I'm clear in how I'm perceiving and receiving and sharing information. So with that being said, the conscious portion of me that I always used to say minds, which is totally incorrect, I'm learning to correct that. That's an area of growth for me. That's a level up, and I'm not ashamed about it. And with that being said, I can't expect that if someone else may not be conscious in that area level to say that they're an absolute failure. No, they haven't tapped into that area of growth. So when we talk about different growth spaces, that's a perfect example for a real life experience that I'm working through right now, that I'm leveraging in this current space. That won't be my forever space. That won't be the ultimate space. That won't be the end all, but that is a place where I am growing in my current, and that's okay for me, where it may not be okay for you. And I must be okay with that. You must be okay with that. They must be okay with that, so that we can be okay with that. And when we're okay with that, we leverage the growth. Let's just keep it 100% real. So we know that the dominant space that I operate in is leading women. And women, we can be very petty at times. And in our absolute pettiness, we forget to get ready. We forget to get ready for the things that is most important. We forget to leverage up. And that's what creates the frustration in the first place. You're worried about what they are or are not doing, and you haven't done what you need to do in the first place. That is being petty instead of getting ready. Why don't you focus on what you need to get ready for? And I hate to say this, but Shaniqua keeps it real. Coach Shaniqua brings it, leverages it, and we talk about what really needs to be in the head and the heart space. African American women, we are the pettiest. We are petty about so many things that don't even matter in the space of growth and leveraging opportunity and capacity and stretching ourselves forward to our next level. We need to be focusing on those things that will help us to level set in our minds, to level set in our execution, and to level set in the way that we are reaching back and pulling those forward that desire to grow. You can't take a person to a place that you've never, ever been to. How do you get there? Both of you are navigating in the GPS system, lost through the process of where it is that you should be. No, it just doesn't quite work that way. So we gotta realize that in the level of growth, frustration will come about because people are not growing at the level that you're growing. They're not able to handle the nakedness that comes along with your growth. As your growth, here we go, enunciation again, and your growth, as we are not often able to handle some of the levels that they have in their growth. Maturity comes with certain spaces. We often desire the mountaintop, but we gotta realize that it is in the valley that maturity actually happens. Are you willing to stay in those valley places where you are able to get through the muck, the mess, the stumbles, the blocks, the sand in your shoes, those things that hurt, that are abrasive, those things that pinch you, it makes you move. Do you know that pain really makes you move? Frustration is a pain point. Let's just be real. Frustration truly is a pain point. But I really wanted to take this time to say to the women out there, those that desire to lead and to lead effectively, those that desire to lead and lead greatly, those that desire to lead and lead in absolute truth, the realization of leading, the realization of operating in a space called growth is frustration is part of the process. Do not allow frustration to tap you out. Do not allow frustration to box you in. Do not allow frustration to cause you to lose. There goes that enunciation again. Cause you to lose your authenticity. So you got to understand where your growth space is. Stop trying to be perfect. And that's why I'm not even willing to edit this video, because that's the problem. We predict and we portray this perfect space that doesn't give people the ability to leverage, to understand, and to connect to the true growth. And that's what we're about. Does that mean that I don't operate in excellence? Absolutely not. I believe in putting in the best of everything that I have, because if I put nothing into it, guess what? I absolutely get nothing out of it. So that's not what I'm stating at all, for you not to put in the best of your work. But what I'm stating is that you would desire to be more effective than trying to be perfect, because I'm going to ask you the question, have you met anything that's perfect yet? If you have, please send me on that trail so that I can experience some of that. But until then, let's work on being effective female leaders in the workplace, in your personal businesses, leading your household, your families, in the ministry arena, operating in the true level of your faith and your beliefs that you can develop, that you may be able to develop others. Thank you so much for tuning in with me for this week's YouTube video. Please share this video. Ask your friends, followers, and those that you know that are truly desiring to lead in a place of, there we go again, enunciation, space of authenticity, that there are those women leaders that desire to lead in that space of authenticity, that they will connect to truth. One of the things that I found is that there is no true blogging space. There is no true space for women of color, of truth, of a woman who has really come through and made it, not from the top, but made it from the valley to get to the mountaintop. I am Coach Shaniqua L. Washington. The name, the enunciation again, the L in the middle of my name stands for leadership. And I hope that this video has led you to a space of truth, a space of transparency, and a space to say that I'm willing to lead my space with clarity. Frustration happens. I didn't get frustrated in the process of this video. Learn to have some fun with it. Thank you for tuning in. Connect with me on Facebook every single Monday night, where we will chat about the head and the heart space, because women deserve to win on purpose. I appreciated this time with you. Coach Shaniqua L. Washington, www.zurielleadership.com. Check in, connect with me, and let's be great together. God bless.